All right, what's going on, everybody? Some idiot with a wrench, back with a big project. This is my '69 Chevelle, and that is a giant shelf of parts that need to go in the car. I've got an intake, a cam, some brand new Vortex style heads from Summit, an EFI system, roller rockers, the whole nine. We're going full hot rod, full dog, and I never done this before. Don't know what I'm doing. I've fixed a lot of broken shit. That's pretty much as far as my experience goes. If something breaks, do some Google foo, watch a couple Chris Fix videos on how to unfuck it, and then I get to work the next day. This is my first attempt at actually hot rodding something. So, this is my '69 Chevelle. It's been with me for, oh man, Jesus, like a decade now, right? I've had this car since I was 16. It was my dad's before it was mine. He unfortunately passed when I was 16 years old, and it's like the last thing that I have left of his that like really belongs to me. So the car is very important to me, right? I'm never getting rid of it. And because of that, I've devoted a lot of time and energy to maintaining it. Now, we'd always been under the impression that it was a completely factory original car. We've had it confirmed that the paint is all original, as well as the vinyl top and the interior. And the interior kind of shows it, especially the bench seat, right? The engine, turns out, I did some sleuthing a couple weeks ago, is an H code 350 out of a 78 C10 or Blazer or something along those lines. So it's not the original motor, which sucks. I'd had the urge to hot rod this thing in the past, and I never did because I was always under the impression it was a completely factory original car, right? The motor and everything. I've still got the 4-barrel Quadra junk in the bottom drawer of that tool chest, and what I thought was the factory air cleaner is over there on top of a stack of spare tires for the C10. That kind of sucked, right? It doesn't really matter. I'm never getting rid of the car, so like the drop in monetary value isn't that big a deal. Doesn't bother me that bad. What does suck is it kind of takes a little bit of the luster of the vehicle away. Not a whole lot. It still means the world to me. But it brought some good news with it. And that means I can hot rod it guilt-free. Issue is I've never done that before. So, let's take a crack at it. The first thing I need to do is disassemble the top end of this motor, and I believe that's going to start with my AC system. So it is a factory AC car, and it's got all that plumbing out here. The compressor actually works, so if you want it and you're in Northwest Florida, Pensacola area, I guess DM me, right? You can come take it. I'm not going to touch anything on the cabin, right? And I'm not going to rip the box off the firewall, just all the tubing, the chiller, or what do they call it? The evaporator. This thing is going to go, that is going to go, and all the piping, right? To get that out of the way. And then I need to start disassembling all the stuff that I'm going to hopefully keep and strap back onto the car. My plan is to be extremely meticulous when I do this, because I really want to be able to put it back and have it work. I don't know about you guys, but like I can't remember every bolt I pull from every hole and where it goes and everything, especially if you take a couple days in between stuff. And I work slow because I'm an idiot and I'm pretty lazy. So we'll see how it goes. Today we're going to be taking the AC system apart. I'm going to try and keep you guys updated on any big issues I come across, or any tips and tricks if you're trying to follow along at home. Anyway, let's jump right into it. Okay, it is a different day. But I'm still following along with the original plan. I am ripping shit out of the Chevelle. So, I've got the rad out and the fan taken off, all in the noble goal of getting all this AC shit ripped out. It has been, you know, less than fun. And I've just been kind of taking other things apart as they come up. Now, if you're like me and you have a serious memory issue, is what we'll call it. It's otherwise known as being really fucking dumb. I don't remember how a lot of things go back together perfectly, so I'm using a tape and some marker, and anything that's got to come off and it's got to come back on after I'm done, I'm just leaving little labels on it. Like, these are my trans cooler lines. I upgraded them to braided when I swapped the radiator for the big aluminum dude, and there's a specific order that they have to be in, and I didn't want to try and monkey with it and try and figure it out the hard way, so I went ahead and threw a label on it. Before I take all the electrodigitals out, because that shit's magic and I don't understand how that works either, I'm going to be making lots of labels, probably drawing a diagram and everything, or calling somebody who's smarter than me to help me do it. Either way, this is pretty easy stuff, right? Like, just see how it goes together and unbolt it. Be careful, don't break anything, and don't get frustrated. I get frustrated easily, and I just gotta put it down, walk away, come back later with a bit of a clear head and then a full jug of WD-40. But taking stuff apart, not hard. Just make sure that you're labeling stuff if it's got to go back together and you're not 100% sure that you're going to know how to do that. That's it. Quick little update. I'm going to get back to ripping this shit out of here. Man, it's so much fun. Okay, so it's a different day. The battery on the camera died. I lost the light. I was tired and I just wanted to be done. So I finished up, packed up, sat inside, had a cold beer, cracked a cold one, and just chilled out for the rest of the evening. And now I'm back getting ready to do some more stuff in the garage. But I wanted to kind of finish up what I'd been shooting the other day and kind of talk about some things, some learning experiences about doing this. So here's what my engine looks like now. As you can see, everything's kind of tidy and out of the way. I've got all of the orifices to the inside of the block taped off for the lot of good that will do. It made me feel better to do it. But everything out in here is just out in front is just gone, deleted. So I've got lots of like space to work in. The AC crap got thrown away. I just threw it in the dump or gave it to my neighbor. Everything I'm keeping that's gonna go back in the car got stored nice and out of the way under the workbench. And that's it. Some things I noticed, whatever the fuck this thing was in here for the AC, I don't know what it's called, was just the mother of all fucks to get out, man. I had to pull this hood latch out. It's just 2 bolts here, 1 there, and then you take your horns out. I couldn't get this piece out to get it out like safely, I guess, or correctly is the best way to put that. So I just took the hood latch out and then just ripped and yanked and pulled, and the thing came out the front. If you're gonna do this, try and do it better than that. Try and find a better way to do that, because I got mad and brought out a hammer and did this, right? Accidentally whacked my paint and took a giant chip out and panicked and super glued the chips back on so you can't notice from about 10 feet. Probably not the way you want to do that or handle any of that. So 0 out of 10, do not recommend. What I do recommend doing though is keeping your workspace organized, right? In the last couple clips of me working on stuff, this was just full of shit, and I had wrenches and sockets and everything just all over the engine bay. You want to try and avoid doing that if at all possible. I found it so much easier to like stay productive if you keep a organized workspace. You lose less stuff. I can't tell you how many like 1/2 inch or 10 mil 9/16 sockets and wrenches have just grown legs and wandered off, only to like pop back out of Narnia again at some point. I'm over doing that hunt, so I'm trying now to be very particular and organized with the way I do things. And that's kind of followed through to how I'm storing a lot of my parts. You can see I've got my bolts for the water pump here just taped to the actual water pump. My alternator bracket is labeled, and I've got all the hardware associated with that bracket taped to it, labeled, and it's out of the way so that I can like do stuff at the workbench still before I have to take it all apart and strap it back on. Right? If you're anything like me and you don't have 8 to 15 hours a day to devote to being in your garage because you got kids or a full-time job or anything, and you got to step away from projects for a couple hours, a couple days, maybe in like a week or two, labeling things and keeping things super organized, like taking the 10 minutes to actually clean your workspace up whenever you get done and packed up for the day or the evening, just saves an immense amount of time on the back end. I have noticed the difference in the things I do since I've been doing it. So just a little kernel of wisdom to pass on. Keep things organized, keep things labeled. It'll make your life easier. I know it's a lot easier if you're lazy like me to just chuck shit into a bucket and then figure it out later. You know, make it the next guy's problem until you realize that you are the next guy. So that's it. The block is pretty much down to a short block, close enough-ish. I got some prep work to do on the heads before they're ready to throw in. I'm gonna paint them Chevy orange. And I think I need to get a couple more gaskets in. But then after that, I'm good to go. Anyway, hope this video has been either helpful or entertaining to at least one of you. Please, please, please like, comment, and subscribe. I would really like another source of income because these parts are not cheap. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.